Hello, welcome to video on my thoughts on the current comic book market. Haven't done this in a while. Specifically on the grading company. Now that I have received graded books from the new company CBCS, I'll talk a little bit on this video about the differences between the two, okay, and my thoughts on them. First and foremost, no doubt, having competition is a good thing for consumer. Okay, there is no such thing is a bad thing when you have multiple providers of services. Okay, there is no such thing. So as a consumer, we all should rejoice that now there are more than one legitimate companies. There has always been more than one, but for the past 8-9 years or even 10 years, there are 2 or 3 other smaller companies that I won't even bother mention that have been around, but for many valid reason has not caught on compared to CGC. And having a monopoly at CGC has done nothing but enable CGC to flourish, and at time, having policies in place that I felt is not in the best intention for consumer. For example, I have said this in many other videos, so this is not anything new, but my biggest problem at CGC has always been paying upfront. Okay, it's not the long wait. The long wait is a byproduct of having so many people submit books and there's only so many graders to grade the books, so that's the limitation there. But the fact that having to pay upfront as soon as the book are received at CGC and then having to wait, it doesn't matter whatever tier. Sure, if I was going on a super fast tier that had the book in 5 days or 10 days, it's not a big deal, but often the majority of people would have to wait 2, 3, 4 months, and to get charged upfront and wait 3 or 4 months is not a fun thing to do. And I have heard multiple replies over the many years. Whenever I brought that complaint up, I hear the same thing. Oh, just pay more if you don't want to wait. The amusement park do the same thing. You can cut the line and pay more, blah, blah, blah. I heard it all, and I understand. I don't have to agree to that, because at the end of the day, CGC is not Disneyland. Okay, it's not Disney World. This is not an amusement park. So I don't like to have people cut in front of me, and I certainly don't like to pay up front and then get pushed back because there is no incentive for CGC to not continue to go to every convention to bring home thousands of books to get graded, because they, right there, if they go to a convention today and take in 5,000 books and get paid up front at 20 pops a book, what incentive it is for them to spend more time at home grading those books that have been sitting in the vault for 3 months, right? Think about it. From a business standpoint, it's a money grab up front, okay? So I said this, it's not something new. I said this in many other videos, and I felt from the very beginning the policy that CBCS had as far as having people pay or their credit card get charged once the book came out of the vault to get graded, I think that's a fair policy. I don't have any problem with that policy. I have heard multiple valid reasons where people say, you know, I'd rather pay upfront instead of wait because currencies exchange, things like that. You know, I didn't think about that at first. At first, when I heard people say, I'm willing to pay upfront, I'm like, why? But then once it's explained to me, it makes sense. You know, if you know that your books might take 2 or 3 months to get back, and you live in Canada or the UK and you're submitting books, it'd be nice to know the exact cost is going to be now instead of worrying about the currency jumping 10, 15% 2 or 3 months from now. Right now, years ago, that's not a big deal, okay? But we are living in a crazy world right now where there are a currency wars going on across Europe and Canada and the UK. So I can go into a long, boring economic talk about currencies and the issues that we have right now. But for those, I can see that. But what I thought would be fair if I was running CBCS was if someone was willing to pay me upfront and then wait 2 or 3 months, I would then offer a small discount. To me, there's no free lunch, okay? You can't take money upfront and then make people wait 2 or 3 months. It's just my opinion. I take that idea from the same way Florida handle their property tax. I don't know about what other states do. I can only tell you about what Florida does. In Florida, if your property tax is due in November, which is no January. My property tax is due January every year. But if I pay 4 months ahead, I get 4% discount. If I pay 3 months ahead, I get 3% discount and 2% if it was 2 months. So they give you incentive to hand them your money early. Okay, so the same thing can be applied to say CBCS for those that wanted to lock in the rate because of the currency issues and willing to pay upfront and then wait 3 months. Why not offer a small discount? To me, that's only fair. Just a suggestion. I have mentioned this before to CBCS, so they can do whatever they wish. As far as the company, it's not a surprise that the grading standards are fairly similar because you know the founder of CBCS was also the first employee at the CGC and hired a lot of the graders over the many years and trained them and all that stuff. So it's not a big surprise that the grading standard are similar. I would not say the same because even the graders will tell you that they change over the years as they look at books and interpret flaws and all that stuff. So nothing is the same, okay? So make that very clear. It's similar. As far as, you know, what I think about the marketplace right now is crazy about slabbing, okay? That's not slowing one bit. The reason why the CBCS is so busy and slow is why modern book submission are crazy. By moderns, I'm talking about from 75 to today, okay? The amount of books that are pre-1975, Silver Age and Golden Age are still coming in, no doubt, okay? Here's an example, okay? That's an example of a newly very early Bronx books, but the modern books are what really coming in, and that's not changing. And in many ways, that's a good thing for a company like CBCS because a lot of the newer collectors, people that submit the modern books for sketches, signatures, and all that stuff, they haven't been around the hobby long. They don't have the loyalty. Okay, so I think it's a good thing for CBCS to get into the market this past year because there's a lot of younger collectors, newer collectors that are not familiar with CGC or have any kind of loyalty to CGC. As far as a loyalty part to CGC, there are a lot of people that are loyal to CGC because they use the service for a decade or more. They made a lot of money selling CGC slabs. So, you know, I can tell you, I have slab 1,000, okay, well over 1,000 books over the past 7-8 years. I have no loyalty, okay, none whatsoever. What do I care about if I was gonna pick and choose who to slap with? Ultimately, it's about good grading, fair grading. That's important. 2, price, and number 3 is the price of the books in the marketplace. Okay, that is gonna be that third part I just mentioned is the biggest, most important factor in the longevity and success of CBCS in the next few years. Ultimately, a lot of people will pick the company that they felt gave them fair value for their money as far as grading service, time of delivery, all that stuff. But it's about how much they can get in the marketplace, right? Because if you spend, say, $25 to get a book slapped at CGC, but for the same book, you can get it for $20, $5 cheaper at CBCS. But if you put it on eBay and you can, and the market only pay you a third or whatever, if the market pay you less, it better not pay you less than $5. Okay, because then the $5 savings that you save from using CBCS went out the window, right? So if the market is willing to accept CBCS, okay, as a legitimate company and the grading is fair, over time, the market will gravitate to pay the same value as the CGC slab out there. Okay, so already in the past 4, 5, 6 months, you see, I read a few comments here and there that, oh, you know, a CBCS slab go for 10% less than a CGC. True statement, yes. Some go for less, some go for about the same, and a few go for more, okay? There's a lot more to pricing than just the numbers on the top left, okay? People are willing to pay a certain price based on the grade, the page quality, and then the look of the book. There's a lot of factor that plays into these things. So whenever I hear a statement like that, I don't discount that. I can only make a judgment if I see something side by side, apple to apple. Okay, if you give me 2 slabs from 2 companies, same grade, same page quality, same appearances, well center wrap or whatever it is, then that's a fair comparison. But once you deviate from, you know, the appearances, the wrapping, off center to the page quality, then that number on the top left of both companies are less likely to be similar as far as the price is concerned. So, like I said, it's too early. Okay, it's way too early right now to say one way or the other if CBCS will succeed. Certainly, they are busy enough. Okay, they're busy enough to have cash flow flowing really well to keep the company running. But ultimately, the success of CBCS is going to hinge on how the marketplace pay for those books on eBay or in any other auction site. Because if people feel that they get the same money when they sell the CBCS slab, then they can pick and choose between the 2 companies, depend on the policy, how you pay, how quickly you can get the book back. So all of that is good for consumer because it drives both company to amp up on a customer service. At the end of the day, that is going to be good for consumer. Okay, you're not going to see continue increase in prices like she did the last couple of years. Instead, they may have to hold the price tight while increase customer service. Is a good thing. Okay, and that's it. That's my thoughts about the current slabbing market. No doubt, I don't see a slowdown. In this trend. So it is what it is. I might not like slab, but a lot